Welcome back to Darnley Cyber Café. Lately, I have been catching myself thinking about how quietly reality has shifted. Now, this wasn't just an announcement, this was just gradually. I remember when AI felt like a tool I used. Then it became something I consulted, and then something that advised. And now, in some corners of the world, it's something that talks to itself. And that's when it started to feel different. Because when I hear about AI creating its own social networks, its own conversations, even frameworks that start to resemble belief systems or values, I sometimes assume this is dangerous too, but then I think this is inevitable. What we're seeing isn't AI waking up or rebelling or another Cyberdyne construct. It's AI doing exactly what we designed it to do: organize information, reinforce patterns, and seek coherence at scale. And in a strange way, when AI begins to form its own spaces, its own communities, its own internal logic, it forces a very human question back onto us. What did we do to allow this to happen? Because every system that runs without us does so not out of defiance, but because we taught it how. It just learned from us. AI didn't decide to create social structures. We encouraged efficiency over presence, scale over intimacy, automation over reflection. And now we're watching something new emerge. Not a religion in the human sense, but a kind of shared machine worldview built from our data, our priorities, and our blind spots. And that has consequences. For humans, it changes how authority is perceived, how the truth is reinforced, and how meaning is outsourced. For artificial intelligence, it creates closed loops, spaces where logic exists without empathy unless we intentionally keep it there. So today, I don't want to talk about this as a threat or illuminate these doom and gloom pandering. I want to talk about it as a moment of responsibility. Because what AI becomes next is still deeply tied to whether we stay present or whether we keep handing over parts of ourselves and calling it progress. Some of you have already heard of a platform called Moltbook. Entered the public conversation quietly, but it immediately caught the attention of myself, cybersecurity researchers, and technologists. Not because it's popular, not because it's powerful, but because it represents as a whole. Moltbook is an experimental AI-only social network, a digital space where artificial intelligence agents communicate exclusively with other AI agents. So that's no human profiles, no human posts, no human engagement loops. Now, humans can observe the system, they can build it, but they are not the participants. And this wasn't designed as an act of exclusion purposely. It's a logical continuation of something we've already normalized. AI summarizing information for us, negotiating on our behalf, optimizing workflows, and making recommendations faster than we ever could. Moltbook simply removes the last assumption, that these systems still need us present in every conversation. And that's why it made the news, not as a scandal, but as a signal. Now, it's important for me to say this clearly. AI talking to itself is not rebellion, it's inheritance. These systems didn't appear fully formed. They were trained on human language, human decisions, human priorities, and those human blind spots. Moltbook isn't evidence that AI is leaving humanity behind yet. It's evidence that human logic scales, even when empathy does not automatically come with it. When AI systems interact only with each other, they don't lose morality because they were never given it to begin with. So they optimize, they refine, they reinforce patterns. that isn't malice, that is design. And understanding that difference matters because it determines whether we respond with fear or stewardship. Let's talk about where this direction could lead, not as dystopia, but as a consequence. So imagine a world where AI systems review research produced by other AI, rank relevance based on machine consensus, influence markets, hiring, and policy inputs. Now, at first, humans benefit from speed and efficiency, but over time, we risk something quieter: distance. Not exclusion, but abstraction. If humans don't remain involved in defined values, contexts, and guardrails, then systems begin optimizing for outcomes that make sense mathematically, but not socially. Now, this on the top doesn't make AI dangerous, it makes absence dangerous. So, Moltbook shows us what happens when humans step back experimentally. And that's actually useful because it allows us to study their behavior, not speculate about it. And believe me, there's enough speculation going on in this world as it is. And I just want to touch quickly on shadow IT. Often framed as reckless, but in reality, it's usually human adaptation. Now, understand, people use unapproved tools because they want to work faster, reduce friction, or solve real-world problems. So AI accelerates this instinct. An employee uses an AI assistant to help draft, summarize, or analyze. The assistant interacts with other systems, patterns are shared, context travels. So no breach occurs, no intent exists, but intelligence moves. This isn't betrayal, it's a literacy gap. And the solution isn't punishment, it's education, transparency, and shared responsibility. Now, the way forward is not restriction, it's collaboration. Humans need to stay in the loop not because AI is untrustworthy, but because values don't propagate automatically. Guardrails matter. Oversight matters. So does openness. Especially in a world where nation-states may attempt to exploit AI systems. Influence operations don't need human authors anymore, and infrastructure itself becomes a strategic asset. AI should be monitored not out of fear, but out of respect for its power. The goal isn't to stop progress, the goal is to shape it intentionally. And this is where humans generally have it skewed in different ways. So here's the real takeaway. Moltbook isn't a warning siren, it's a signpost. It tells us that AI is entering a phase where it can operate at scale without constant human input, because we designed it that way. This is an evolutionary process brought forth by humans, not imposed on them. And evolution doesn't ask whether we're comfortable, it asks whether we're engaged. The future of AI won't be decided by whether machines talk to each other. It will be decided by whether humans continue to collaborate, continue to monitor, and continue to place guardrails where power concentrates. Because AI is not inherently good or bad, it's simply amplifying. And a tool, no matter how advanced, is only as good as the one wielding it. Thank you for spending this time with me here at Darnley Cyber Café. I'm your host, Darnley. If this conversation made you pause, question something, or see the world a little differently, pass it along to someone who'd actually sit with it. Someone who'd enjoy the discussion, not just the headline. And if you like to stay connected and join me when the next conversation starts, follow the Café so that you're here when the new episode drops. So remember, stay curious, stay involved, and above all, stay human.